All right. Well, hello and welcome. This is the Millionaire Mindset, where together we get better. Today, I'm having a special guest for us, one of the founding fathers of the Snap Land and Snap Reps. And what's going to be pretty unique about this is it's really just designed all for you. The rep that's coming, that's new, that's veteran, really just to look at the mindset of those that have gone ahead and done some great things in their local community. All of us are out there grinding hard. So what does that mean? But these men and Snap women have reached that pinnacle where they've helped their communities raise over $1 million and also just ultimately have some great experiences. So we're going to be having our guest join us here shortly, Mr. Paul Croghan himself, and he'll give us some insight into his world and just help us out to be better together as reps as we continue to grow. All right, thanks for your patience. We're waiting for Paul to get on. The best thing about working for a technology company, I'm far from what you call technologically savvy. So here we are. We're going to do it for you. I imagine we'll figure out a way to edit this. If not, think, reflect, enjoy yourselves. We'll get to you in just one moment.
Yo,
Hey, all right, there he is. Great.
what's up? Can you see me okay? Is the sunburst okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. It's a great accent. We
Sounds
appreciate that.
good.
Well,
I'm
thanks
in my
again.
corner. Yeah, I'm in my corner office, man. This is nice. Got windows on everywhere I look, so it works out well.
That's great. Well, Paul, thanks again for your time. This is our first episode here of Millionaire's Mindset, where we get better together. And again, really just looking into the mindset of those that have come before us, help share some great strategies and ideas that's helped you ultimately impact your community by millions of dollars, which just creates great experiences. And for those that want to be more competitive, get the resources they need. So, welcome, my
Yeah,
friend. We appreciate you.
absolutely. I'm excited to do it. What a great idea. So kudos to you, man. So good job.
Hey, here we go. I no ideas original. Got it from someone else, so I'm just trying to bring some content so all of us can get better while we're on the road and in between those times. So I know your time's valuable, so I'll get right to it, and we'll just have a conversation, man. This is just us.
Sounds good,
So
man.
one thing as we were talking and putting this together, and we hear it in our culture a lot is grind, right? So tell us a little bit. What does grind mean to you? Why do you think it's important, and ultimately, how do you define it?
Good question. Honestly, I think there might be some so grind actually is naturally there's going to be friction. It's in the very, hey, there you go. Very definition of the word. There's going to be some sort of friction. So I think sometimes people think grind just means, work hard while it's easy. And then when they hit a little hiccup, and then that's where kind of things fall apart. I think where some of the legends like Daniel Hack and Justin Lafitte, I think where those guys do a really good job is even when there's a hiccup or even when there's a no in their day or even whatever it is, they grind through it. And I think that's really, really important because I'm from kind of the school that, you know, um, sales is 20% inspiration and 80% muscle. And I've always kind of believed in that. I think that 80% muscle is vital to grind through things when they're not going your way. Because, I mean, sometimes when we look at those kind of numbers, we think, wow, it must be easy for those people. But it's not true. Daniel Hack and some of those legends, they absolutely grind, which means they get a lot of friction, but they fight through it. They're asking questions, using their chains of command and finding ways to get through it. So um, grinding through it, even when it's tough, is what grind means to me. I mean, a little circular definition, but I think people forget the grind and grind sometimes, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you make a very interesting point too, that mindset of, 20% and 80%, and you said that 80% that muscle. So what do you mean by that? Is that the action, what you're doing? I mean, what does muscle mean to you in that scenario?
awesome. Yeah. So the muscle is just going to be, even when you're tired, even when there's fatigue, you're going to just grind through it. And so that might mean that, one side of campus, you get a no, and somebody says no, that, we're all set. Well, you got to muscle through it and go ask somebody else and not walk back to your car with your tail between your legs, but, really grind through that maybe disappointment or negative energy and grind through and go find three guys that are going to say yes. And I think the people who are the best at doing this job are the ones that have gotten the most no's. And not that
Right.
we're purposely looking for no's, but just like in the batting cage, every swing you take, you need to learn something from it. Someone like, I don't know, Marcus, or some of those guys, they're taking tons of swings. So
Right.
by the end of the day, their swing is that much better, even if they had a couple of bad swings. So I think swinging the bat always and muscling through and learning from each swing is vital. I mean, that's what we're paid to do, is to ask as many coaches as possible, take as many swings as possible. So
Yeah, yeah. Learn through those mistakes, get better faster, right?
for sure, yeah. I mean, those big meetings, like you have a big meeting with a football coach. Um, those come from a lot of small meetings, and you get prepared by a lot of small meetings. So right off the gates, we want to go to the best football team in the area, but honestly, you kind of gotta get your game tight by asking a lot more people before that, so you're ready and prepared when those big meetings come. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Getting ready to face the bat that when it counts, you're up to bat and ready to play.
absolutely, man.
That's awesome. You mentioned muscle too, and it's made me think of, I mean, so many of us are athletes and we've been in the weight room, we had to train. And it just clicked with me. It made sense, right? It's like, if you want to get bigger and better and faster, you got to break those muscles down.
For
You got
sure.
to beat them up, and then that's how they get stronger and keep going. So you can't go to the weight room 3 days and all of a sudden have that beach bod, right?
Absolutely not unless you're one of those wiry guys on the East Coast or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Could be. Well, awesome. You talk about the grind. So, I mean, grind. If you can help the all of us out there listening, because I think we understand that concept, right?
Mhm.
It's more of like, hey, what action can I take? So, I mean, what is your day looking like? What are you setting up? So when you're in that moment of the grind, and you're feeling that additional friction,
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I mentioned, I think our job is to ask as many coaches to set dates as possible. And that's what we need to be doing. I think like the new app and all those kind of things, um, they're supposed to get us in position so we can be in front of as many coaches as possible and ask them, so we're not bogged down by office work and things like that.
Right.
So like with some of the new guys, like sometimes I know they want to grind, I know they want to work hard, but sometimes I feel like they don't know what that means. And for me, I think that is get get rid of anything that's preventing you from being in front of coaches. So get away from the computer screen. That's not a good idea. Do that on your own time. Find a way to get in front of as many coaches as possible. So that means bust your ass even when there's a flat tire. That means bust your ass even if you got to go to the dentist. Bust your ass whenever. Get that stuff out of the way. Get in front of coaches and do what you need to do to get in front of coaches. Sometimes that means driving a little harder, a little further. Sometimes that means asking uncomfortable questions, getting more referrals. Sometimes that means, going to a coach has said no before and asking again and grinding through that uncomfortability. So those
Yeah.
kind of things are huge, but just asking to set dates is everything. I mean, you should
Yeah.
be asking 8 to 10 coaches a day to ask to set dates. I mean, that's just kind of just the way it should be. So that
Okay,
makes sense.
I love that. And as far as just like that swing we're talking about, right? It's
Mm,
important what bad habits to avoid doing. So you
yeah.
mentioned, hey, something that you do, it sounds like to take control of your time is I eliminate being in front of that screen. What are some other things? I think, we do a great job as a company. Hey, if you follow these FFP, if you do these metrics, you'll have success. And I think people are doing that, but maybe the only reason they're not getting to it is because there's things that are taking their time and energy and focus other ways. So what are some other things that you do to avoid that gives you that more at bats with coaches?
Gotcha. Good question. So I think building relationships is vital, like humongous and important. Shaking as many hands as possible. But sometimes I think we don't have enough confidence ourselves to ask that coach to set dates. So we might have seen a coach 3 times, and you might tell really good jokes with them and have a good time with them, but you just haven't had it in you to set dates and just kind of lock things down. So avoiding anything that isn't asking a coach to set dates is pretty vital. But I
Okay.
mean, you obviously want to build relationships, but you don't need to base your relationships on 15 visits and 5 coffees before you can ask them to set dates. I
Right.
mean, this we can ask to set dates on the very first time that we meet people. So really avoiding that kind of like hesitancy is huge. Like some of the new guys think, oh, I think I might run with this guy next year. Why do you think that? Oh, because I had a good conversation with him. Well, if you had a good conversation with them, you should have asked them to set dates because we
Yeah.
have a pretty awesome product, awesome process that we should have so much confidence that we should ask dates every time we shake a coach's hand. And so avoiding that hesitancy is
Yeah.
huge. Also, I would say avoiding things that you think might be work, but let's be honest, are not. Like we talked about the computer screen.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think when we schedule our day, I think it's important that we schedule it to either be in schools or be in front of coaches in some way, shape, or form. Getting your tires done, going to the dentist, picking up this or picking up that is dog crap.
Yeah.
Be in schools in front of coaches as much as you possibly can, and if you do that, like you can have a really efficient workday and a really efficient week, and it might be a lot more condensed and a lot more potent than somebody who thinks they're working 70 hours a week. But
Right.
intertwined in that might be emailing for 7 hours, getting your tires done,
Yeah.
fixing this around the house, doing your laundry while you're emailing. That's not work. Our job is to get in front of coaches, to get into schools, and leave it other stuff. Don't interweave it into your day.
Yeah.
It's distracting, it's dangerous, and it's really, really, really tempting. But you gotta avoid it at all costs, kind of thing. So
No, I feel you, brother. I had a good mentor say one time, and it sounds like you got the similar belief is busy work just means being lazy.
yeah,
Busy work, that's what it does. It drags you down. But we know just getting in front of those people that are most valuable to us. And I love the when you're talking about, just you have the authority. Hey, the reason I can set days with you today is because we have the best solution. I care about you. We're going to save your time. Um, that may have just been my view on it, but that's something that kind of
no, absolutely,
I
no,
love it.
absolutely. That's what it really comes down to is, and then a lot of my friendships that I have with the company are built on me doing a really good job. For
Hmm.
not to be like arrogant or anything, but if I do a really good job with the coach and he's like, this guy was honest, he was transparent, that's a great place to build a relationship. Trying to
Yeah.
build it on skirting around and telling jokes and stuff like that, maybe. But if you build it on, hey, I did an awesome job for this guy, I took pride in my work, I was respectful, I was transparent, I was honest, what better way to start a friendship than that? And we can do that when we work with a coach. So I think naturally you're going to make friends by doing this process. So no need to actually go out and look for friends, kind of thing. So
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, we're in the service industry, right? We're here to help service these teams to something that's a conceptually new approach, and they don't know about us. So it's we're the educators and getting in front of them and really bringing value to their day, and then it will make you a lot of friends just by doing
yeah,
the right thing, right? Yeah.
no, for sure, without question. So
Yeah, no, I had a great coach recently say, "Hey, just thank you for following through.
mhm.
Something simple is just add in, an email that they needed just to help
Yeah,
out with the booster." And it's just like it was insignificant, but it made that relationship better and just following through. And I think that's what coaches want from their kids, and that's what they expect from their relationships.
for sure. Yeah, no, without question. Yeah, well played, well said.
Well, what other things to, veteran reps all the way to those reps that has started here in the last 90 days, could you offer as advice that would help make them, have an impact in their community as you've been able to do so far?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just really the approach of we will work with everyone. You might not get it yet, but some of your slow yeses are going to be your best yeses. If you have a coach that's methodical and he's thinking things out and it takes him a little time to get there, well, once he experiences our process, he's not going to go away from it because he's methodical and he understands it and he respects it.
Right.
Um, so and the on the other side of that is I've always thought, easy come, easy go. If you got a coach that's like, before you even finish your sentence, is like, yep, let's do it. Well, you got to make sure you're really like
Right.
taking care of that one, because easy come, easy go. So know that the low hanging fruit is valuable, and you gotta hit that and knock it down. But some of those ones up top are the really sweet pieces of fruit that are worth your time. Keep on working on them, and when you get them, they're going to be lifelong relationships, because at this point you've had 5 or 6 good conversations with the guy. The guy understands it. He understands your value. Understands that snap raises value and things like that. So those are like really, really important relationships to have, and really important relationships to like work towards. Because if you have all easy, low hanging fruit, it's
Mhm.
really not a solid foundation to have your practice with snap raise like based on, kind of thing. So
I dig it. Grandpa said anything worthwhile takes time.
no, for sure, man.
Yeah,
But
the
you will
toughest
get them.
people.
There's no doubt in my mind. I
Yeah,
mean, and those are the best ones. The $50,000 football teams
yeah,
might take a little bit of time, but once you get them, man, that guy's sold forever. I mean,
yeah,
he's loving it. So
yeah. Usually the toughest people to get a hold of are the ones that value their time, so they're really going to respect what we offer and
yeah,
give them that chance. That's great, man.
for sure.
Um, you've given us some great examples of things to avoid. Obviously, kind of that mindset to go into it. And one thing that we always hear is have that plan, right?
Yeah.
And put it in place. What does your preparation look like? What tools do you use? How do you map out your game plan and just really set yourself up for success for the weeks to come?
Gotcha. So, I like to use the tools that are in place. SnapRace has some really good tools in place for the game weeks and stuff like that. I'm not the best at using them. I know that my business would be better if I used them better. So,
Mhm.
young people, um, if you use those tools wisely, they can make you better. For
Tell us a
me,
little
I
about
like.
that. How would that impact you? I mean, if you felt, you're vulnerable and you said, "Hey, I could use it more," using it more, how would that impact your business, you think?
Well, I got a large territory, so I think that if better planning would cut my drive time a bit substantially.
Hmm.
Also, I think it would, maybe prevent any sort of like, you know, like with check deliveries, for instance. If you take the time and make a good plan for delivering your checks, it can be a really good opportunity to get referrals, make
Right.
re-sign them properly and things like that. But if you don't, if you're just running through the school dropping off checks and you're not having a good conversation with that coach, it's going to be a little bit tougher to re-sign them, things like that. So you want to make sure that you have enough time to do what you're supposed to do. Another example is obviously, sign up seasons, kickoff season, it should be tattooed on all of our heads by now. But if you're on a campus running bangers and you don't have enough time to sign up more, I mean, that's just silliness. I mean, you're just costing yourself tons of like free sales. I mean, if you just started a guy yesterday and he's at $3,000 with the softball team, I mean, you need to make sure you're having enough time to go sign the baseball team up. Otherwise, that's just a huge waste of opportunity.
Yeah.
So just things like that, where just like if you plan well, things are going to fall into your lap. Not fall into your lap, but it's just going to be a lot easier to execute. I guess what I'm saying. So,
Okay.
but for me personally, I'm really, I like carrots a lot, and I like going for this carrot. So I personally have a little thing what's called a kill list,
Okay.
and at the beginning of a season, I make a kill list, and that is like the coaches that I want to work with and the teams that I want to work with. And
Hmm.
so I literally have it on a piece of like grid paper, really nicely done out, and I carry that with that in my front seat. And when I
Wow.
sign up that coach, I like highlighting their name, and it just feels so good. And at the end of my season, I like seeing basically a highlighted piece of paper. And so that's what I call my kill list. It's always worked out really well for me, just because I just like seeing those tangible wins. In I don't know, they're just
Yeah.
awesome carrots for me. So I love it. So
Love it. We're visual people, man. I dig it. How do you create your kill list? I mean, what inspired you, and how did you come up with the names to put on there?
good question. For me, it's just people that I've talked to, that I haven't quite gotten, because of whatever. But also just kind of knowing my good schools, getting good referrals. So if I get a really good referral to a crosstown guy, and okay, you got to work with this guy. He's got an awesome program. That guy's going on my kill list.
Yeah.
Or if I see like if I walk by a practice someday and man, I'm like, that guy runs a really good freaking practice. And I don't have an opportunity to talk to him that day because I didn't schedule well enough or something like
Mhm.
that. I'll put him on my kill list and be like, man, that Santa Teresa baseball coach, sharp guy. I want to get that guy. So it's kind of just like, it's kind of just something inside me that I just, man, I got to work with that guy. I got to work with that guy. I mean, I think we've all been in the dating world where you're just kind of like, you see something and you're just like, man, I can't get my head off that, type of
Yeah.
thing. So that's how I got married, man. Couldn't get my head
Very,
off my wife. So
very good.
yeah,
Well, that's kind of an interesting little segue. Those of us, I mean, I think a good portion of us have relationships, some married. What have you found has been a key to your success? I mean, you have a large territory. You mentioned, creating your game week, family man. What can you say to those as far as the time dedication to each? Because I've had a good mentor say there's really no thing as life balance. We're just kind of on this big cog wheel, it keeps going. Certain things you got to push along a little bit more, but if you want to get good at this, you got to devote your time. So,
for sure.
how do you find your zen, your moments where you get that support?
Yeah, no, for sure. And kind of what we talked about earlier is just, with your schedule, make sure you're keeping your schedule compact and keeping it tight, where it's not some loosey 70-hour work week, which only has 50 hours. And then it's like, that's a
Right.
lot of time that you're not spending with your family if you're just doing a lot of lollygag and stuff. So I think whether it's work or whether it's home, just making sure it's intentional, like if I have awesome time with like my son, like I have rules where no iPads, computers, or cell phones in his room, then that hour that I have with him is so intentional and so much more awesome than if I'm like, hey, hold on, let me return a text or thing like that.
Yeah.
On the same side with work, when you're really when you're into that moment and like this is what I'm doing is I'm working right now, you can have that really good conversation with your wife or whatever relationships is in a respectful way. That's right now it is going to be work time, and I'm looking forward to having that time with you where I can say no to work as well. So really intentional, whether it's at home or at work or whatever relationship it is, combination with scheduling is going to be a lifesaver, relationship saver, work saver. So that's something that's really been huge for me. So
Awesome. I love it. So I'm here, good communication, make a plan, and be intentional about it.
absolutely, yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely, yeah. So
Well, hey man, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's been great. I really appreciate it. I did have a couple of things just with the overall mindset. As you go out there and grind and you get that friction, it can be abrasive at times, and sometimes
yeah.
it sparks something, right? Friction creates fire, and that's how we can build. What do you do to get motivated? Is there a song that you turn to? Do you call your wife? Do you look at pictures? I mean, what is that pivot point that you go, okay, fuck it. I'm good. I'm the man. I do millions of dollars. I'm gonna keep moving forward.
Yeah, good question. I go get another yes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never end the day on a no. Do never end the day on a no, because then it's going to take it into your home life. It's going to take it into your like, I can't sleep because that guy. Go get a yes. End the day on a yes always. End it on a positive note is a big one. But also when you're down, and let's say you're just tail between your legs, where that like toughness is going to come from is going in there and getting back up and asking the coach again. And then you're going to get that yes. And then that's where that callous comes from. That's where that confidence comes from, is getting a yes. I mean, do not let a no affect your day. Do not let it do anything but fuel you to get another yes. And that's kind of just been my saving grace, is just like, let that no, leave a taste of blood in your mouth where you're just like, nope, can't let that beat me. Go get a yes. Go ask again. Never end your day on a no. Never call it quits and go to the golf course because you're sad or anything like that. Go get a yes, and that is going to build just a huge callus into toughness that is going to be indestructible, like some of those vets that we see sometimes. So
There it is, man. Millionaire's mindset. Where we get better together, man. I've definitely
absolutely.
learned a lot. I appreciate your time. Any closing words of wisdom, notes for these uh, individuals that are out there, snap men and women, making an impact on their community?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just keep on working on your swing. Get advice from the reps. I mean, the guys that have done it before you. And if you're popping up, dropping your shoulder, whatever it is, ask the guys that are been doing it for a while what's going on, and turn those failures into successes. Turn it into an opportunity to get better. but you need to be asking tons of times a day to make sure your swing is just getting that much better. You know, the best swing in the game, Tony Gwynn, I think he took something like 1,000 swings a day or something crazy like that. He had the best swing of the game, but he was just learning and perfecting his craft all the time, and even asking for help. It's like Tony Gwynn's asking me for swing help. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he just wants to get that much better. So always asking, always staying humble. I think a lot of guys in this company are great at doing that, but we all want to help each other out. You're a perfect example of it. You're just doing this because you want to help other people out. I think that's the whole culture of this thing. So great job, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, my intention is, hopefully somebody's in the car and they get a chance to listen to this, and maybe they've got that kick in the teeth, and they can go, hey, you know what? It's we're all going in this together, and it's just time to get better and go get that yes. So you're the
Absolutely,
man.
man.
We appreciate you. Anything we can do to ever help you, don't hesitate to reach out.
Sounds good. A lot of fun, man. We'll talk to you
I appreciate you. Take care.
later.